Hello Tubesters, it's Gav. Welcome to another one of my videos. Yes, I'm back. Only yesterday we had one. And this is actually following on from yesterday's video. I got this bust actually stuck on the... It didn't need any cleaning up. I presume Fredrik hasn't cleaned it up. It is a 3D hollowed out print on the actual plinth bit and the figure itself. There's a couple of tiny nub marks which maybe I should have taken off on the arm cuts, and definitely underneath there's a few, but you're not even going to see underneath, and the ones on the end of the arms are so tiny. I'm not going to bother taking them off. I mean, they're not high or anything. That is a real quote. Fredrik, thank you very much. That's a beautiful bust, that is. I've got the 3D printer which is wedged somewhere that way. And I have thought about printing even, printing busts and that. For me, it's too, I can sound really lazy, it's much too like hard work, but I don't mind printing off. I've got a collection of bits and pieces in 1 in 35 I've still got to print off for me and Fredrik actually. And for some of my other marras, if they come up or the other stuff comes up all right. I've thought of they do superhero ones and things like that. If you're going for a lot of the, not always, but a lot of the superhero ones, if you want some decent quality ones, they're like about 20 quid to pay for the printing fee. And to be honest with you, I can go to El Greco, and all right, they're not superhero ones, but you can go to El Greco and get a fantasy bust if you want a 3D printed one. And they seem to be around the £20 mark. So for £30+ for a bottle of resin, then you've got the will it print, won't it print, and the time it prints, the stink, and it's in here with me. I can't just go and sit somewhere else for a day while it prints. To be honest with you, it's not worth, in my opinion, worth me doing it. I print the odd figure off when I want to. I don't do a lot of those, only because the problem is with all the restrictions you've got, I paint figures and then I usually sell them on. I don't have an income. It's the only, the only way I can go forward and getting other stuff is selling the stuff that I've got. So if you can't sell the prints off, this, yes, I can print as many as I want, but I'm stuck with a load of figures that I can't. I'm quite happy to give stuff away as well on that to my marras. But so going back to the busts, I'm more inclined at the moment to, if I wanted one like this one, and this to me is top quality. I'd love to know where all this. I can see where they put the supports underneath, and I can see where roughly the supports are on the arms. But there's no other supports on, and it's not grainy. It's not one of those I've always shied away from, because people try and do them on them FDM printers and they're just layered, and you, as a figure painter, you might as well throw them at the wall, because for me there's no fun in that. There is no fun. You can't smooth them out properly, or if you can, and it's resin, you will be knocking yourself out to exhaustion trying to find every little striation. But the liquid resin printer obviously does a hell of a better job. But yeah, I might try and print one off just for fun. I mean, you can get some of these fantasy busts, you can get them for like a £5. They're not massively expensive. It's just, as I say, I'm probably more inclined. I mean, it's not like I paint 1,000 bloody busts, so I'm more inclined to pay 22 quid to El Greco when I get what I call not a proper bust, that's the wrong word in it, but the more standard type busts, as in not 3D printed, is what I'm trying to. I do actually like those, but this is brilliant. When it was in its raw resin state, I wasn't even sure if it was resin, as in being cast, or if it'd been 3D printed, but it must have been 3D printed because of the little knobs and the hollowed out stuff, and it's beautiful quality. Anyway, I've done it again. This is going to be 2 minutes just to explain why I'm showing you the bust, which I only showed you yesterday. First of all, another shout out. I keep shouting my marras out. I don't care how bored you get with it. Fredrik at the Hobby Shack. Go check him out. There'll be yet another link to his description, to his channel in the description. But the reason I'm making this video, and it will be probably in the title, hopefully, is I was sticking this on the plinth. I just had to use a bit of sandpaper, one of my flexible sanding sponges. It's on like a bit of a spike, the plinth, as you can see, and I had to I wanted to go in a bit because they've actually done the spike as into the figure, into the bust itself. So I was going to try and lower it down. I thought, well, I can't really, but it just needed a bit of sanding just to make it go in just slightly further, so it's not toppling around on the edge of the spike. And I was looking at it; it was still in its raw state, and I thought, this reminds me of the person that's in the title. See, I'm going to put in the title, and I put primer on it only. This has only been primed about an hour and a half ago, and I've done it's a mixture actually. I don't have any black. Well, I have a bit of black primer, but it's very glossy, and it's good for putting metallics over. But I don't like doing it. That's the AK one. I find it quite glossy. They also do a one that isn't a primer, but it's to go under metallics. But this primer they do, the black one, is just a bit too glossy. I don't like it. When I'm priming, I prefer matte, or at least especially on the figures and stuff. But I've primed it in the grey AK, can't even remember what it's called now, but the lacquer primer that I love using. Then I've put just Vallejo black with a bit of Vallejo head. Anyway, we watered that down and put it on in the shadow areas, and then I've got some AK lacquer white primer, and I've just gone over certain areas. It just gives it more of a. I don't actually keep going over till it's white. To be honest with you, I just picks up the grey really by the time it's gone on. And when it gone on, I kept looking at the frown, and I just going, that's Charlie Mack. That is if Charlie Mack was a warrior dwarf, he would be like this fellow. Well, I'll have a quick look at him on the bench in a second. But yeah, I just kept looking. He, you know, I always think of Charlie, and this isn't. I don't understand. I always think of Charlie, not in that way. I always think that Charlie's one of these. He's loyal to the core to his friends, but if you stand on him, watch out. This guy's just got this look of. He's even like looking at this bench, saying, "What's Jeff and Woody doing now?" Now you're saying to yourself, "Well, not being funny, Gav. This guy's full. He's got braids all over the place." Charlie is, should we say, follically challenged, like myself. But many of you don't realise that Charlie lost his hair worrying about Jeff and Woody. And if he hadn't have known Jeff and Woody, he'd still be looking like this. So let's go down to the bench. Right, guys, again, I apologise for my not using my beautiful black backdrops. Wife was over at Mum's last night, didn't come back till late. I forgot to ask where the hell she's put this black card of mine. So we struggle on with what we've got. So, as I say, I'm dedicating this painted bust, or the painting of this bust, and when it's completed, to Charlie Mack. Because I still think this looks like Charlie Mack if he was a warrior dwarf. It is a cracking sculpt. Can you see now? I don't know if I can make them out. No, you can't really see them that bad. I've got to be careful. She's only blue, or he's only blue tacked onto this. That was the only thing being. It's got a couple of drain holes in at the bottom, and the same under the top of the figure. But I couldn't put one of the double-ended screws that I use in without. I was fearful that even if I'd got one that to fit, I'll just crack all the resin. So it's at the moment she's stuck on blue. Well, he keeps saying it. He's stuck on blue tack. So I'm just a bit. It's going to be a bit worrying because you'll guarantee I'll paint 3/4 of it and it'll fall off and chip all the paint off. But yeah, Charlie, my old Mara, I know you're feeling it a bit, a bit under the weather at the moment. And as I said on my comments, I don't like to see you feeling rough because you're a good old bloke. All right then, let's keep the old out of it. Good bloke. So I thought I'm going to dedicate this to you. I've got an idea what I'm going to do colour-wise. He's going to have ginger hair, so auburn, ginger, I don't know, something like that. Did think of doing him grey, but the face was just that bit more. That face again. See? What are you two doing? I'm not even going to say what he calls him because that's Charlie and Jeff and Woody's stuff, not mine. I just chuckle away. He's got some age to him. I say the facial details absolutely great. And I did think of doing grey hair, but I'm going to do traditional. They always seem to do dwarfs. I think that's from Graham's workshop days, but they always seem to give them red hair. And I wanted to do a warm feel to this guy, so yeah, I think he's great. I did that other dwarf from scale 75, and that was I didn't know what I was doing, and to be fair, the bust was awful, clean-up wise. It really was awful. And I always said I'd never touch another scale 75 figure again. Probably break that promise at some stage, but no, I was really not happy with that, the clean-up involved on that. But this is beautiful. I really like him. So yeah, I'm trying to do it. If you've seen by the lights I've used, that's why, it's, as I said, it's, if you're going to, I'll sketch this out again like I did with the, by the way, the Vietnam figure is getting, I'm going to gingerly take him off the block of wood that I've been painting him on and put him on his plinth tonight or tomorrow, and you should get a video of him early next week because he's done as far as I'm concerned. But yeah, this gives you the idea of where you want to put your shadows and your highlights in. As you can see, I've put a bit of dark into the cheek area here. Obviously, frown there. The good thing is when you go over with your white afterwards, you'll take out the starkness of some of that black, and it'll leave more your better shadow areas. And it just gives you an idea of where you want to put them, and it'll also give a darker feel to the paint when you put it on. But in itself, it's a map, and then you put your sketch on top of that, and you're really mapping out where you want to go with the colours and things. Now this guy's going to be, it's all going to be non-metallic, badly painted by me because I'm not very good at non-metallic, but and the same with the plinth, hopefully. Or I'm not 100% sure what I'm going to do. I might do this colour and just do the scroll work in a metallic. I don't know yet, but whatever I tell you now is going to change, you'll guarantee it. I've got an idea what I'm going to do on the fabric here, but you always find with these dwarf busts, and when I say this is the only second one I've ever done, but looking at loads of other ones over the years, they are very busy, obviously, with all the on the moustaches and the beards. You've got all these dooberries here, and then you've got loads of other metallic bits and pieces. I mean, you don't have to paint that metallic if you don't want to, but dwarves show off their mining skills and how they work metal and that's why you get them covered in this type of stuff. So that's what we're going to go for. So Charlie, I know it's not, if someone is going to do a dedication to you, normally it'd be a car or a plane or a truck or something, but this is more my field, and it just looked like you. As I say, last night I just came up, I thought that's a Charlie stare. You know what I mean? If the American Postal Service had stuffed yet another one of his parcels up, that's the stare that Charlie would be giving the person on the other side of the counter. So yeah, guys, thank you very much. As I say, provided, but no, I'd just like to say, Fredrik hasn't got no input into this. Should Charlie not like it, but Provided by Fredrik from the Hobby Shack, painted by Gav, in honour of Charlie Mack. Take care of yourselves. Speak soon.